Looking at the starting lineup for the main and tail Lady Stallions, you recognize some of these players, Sheila.
Yes.
Some of them you've actually competed against, and now they are forming one of the 2 new expansion teams here in the Philippine Superliga Grand Prix.
That's right. You know, we are actually expecting a lot, especially there are new players that have just joined this conference.
And as you look at the RC Cola Air Force Raiders, for a lot of the fans, they actually pegged this team as one of the teams to beat. But so far, you know, for lack of a better term, it's been an anemic performance so far for RC Cola Air Force. Like you mentioned, Sheila, you want your reinforcements like Emily Brown and Bonita Wise to really up the scoring, because all the other reinforcements have been doing their thing. But of course, you cannot just rely on the reinforcements alone. You have to get your old reliables. You know, some of the local scorers and achievers like the Best Setter awardee in Rhea de Maculangan, a former Best Spiker awardee in Joy Cases, Yari Yonko, one of the hottest rookies from the All-Filipino Conference. You want them firing on all cylinders if they want to have a good game today.
Well, we hope that we can, or they can utilize, you know, their power, their playing skill for today's match.
Well, as we are set to begin set number 1 here at the Cuneta Astrodome. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. For everyone watching here at the Cuneta Astrodome, and of course those of you watching at home on Solar Sports, nice look on the faces of Emily Brown. Saw Kaylee Mance earlier, along with Christy Jaco. And I'm sure for the RC Cola Air Force Raiders, they're very much aware, certainly aware of the high-scoring exploits of Christy Jaco. Whenever you have a player like that, like a Christy Jaco, does that change the defensive mindset of the opposing team?
Well, for me, you know, it would be a more a challenge, you know, for the players, considering that you have a strong spiker, you know, and a smart player, a tall one like Christy Jaco.
Chance for main and tail, put the first points on the board. Excellent dig by Emily Brown. Cases on the other side, off speed, good dig by Jaco. Mance with the setup, the wind-up, but no finish. Dimakulangan the back set for Yonko. Attack doesn't go, and a chance ball given up. Let's see what Kayla Mance will run here. Off to the other side, and that one is good for main and tail.
That went on the line. A good spike there by Fajardo.
Rosanne Fajardo opened outside hitter from College of St. Benilde when she played collegiately, putting the first point on the board for main and tail. Let Mabayad, the constant local in the last game of main and tail with 7 points. Combination play, Bonita Wise puts it down.
Yes, that went off the block and wasn't able to receive by Let Mabayad.
With Bonita Wise in that position, just made it easy for Rhea de Maculangan to put it up. Bonita Wise puts it down. 14 points last game against the Tremblay Spikers for Bonita Wise. The sister, former PBA import Eric Wise. Oh, excellent dive there by Emily Brown. Other side, Cases.
Good dig by Asapshon.
Kaylee Mance trying to catch the defense napping. Again, they go back to Cases, but sails out of bounds.
Yes, that goes wide from Joy Cases.
But if anything, for RC Cola Air Force, you'd like that Rhea de Maculangan is trying to get some of the local players into scoring early, like Joy Cases. San Fajardo on deck to serve. 2 serving 1. D-Mac gets under it, sends it to Yonko on the other side. Off the blocker, it's good.
It went out. That was a strong spike there by Yari Yonko.
Yari Yonko really raised a lot of eyebrows from the last conference. Early in the All-Filipino Conference, she was just blazing out of the gate, scoring in every possible way.
Yes, and you know, the Maculangan is giving her good sets, which is also should be utilized, not only for the imports.
Balmaceda digs up that Jaco attack. Emily Brown couldn't put it down. And a chance ball given up. Main and tail. Kaylee Mance jumps it for Jaco. Balmaceda working hard at the back row. Brown with a floater.
And that ball did find the floor. Good dip by Brown, Emily Brown.
Emily Brown not not the most powerful of imports when attacking, but very crafty.
We were talking about that earlier. Smart play, smart game.
Joy Cases on deck to serve for RC Cola Air Force. Up by 1-3, serving 2. Mans with the back set. Running attack by Datuin.
That is, one of her favorite spikes. Sliding off to the right. That's a running spike.
One of the prettiest plays to execute as well.
Yes. Indeed.
You can see Kaylee Mans with 38 excellent sets against the Photon Tornadoes.
I really like how she shows herself, inside the court, having this very, how do I say, scary look,
You ever had a teammate like that, uber competitive?
Well...
Or were you the one who was uber competitive?
A bit.
Okay, I can see that. Maybe I'll interview some of your former teammates. Try to find out some dirt on the Sheila Salay side. 4 serving 3 now for main and tail. Kaylee Mans on deck. Loads that one up at Cases with a reception. Oh, what a hit by Yarionko.
And Michelle Datuin wasn't able, to get that quick hit.
Former RP Youth team member Yarionko winds it up and puts it down. 7 points. Last time out against the Patron Blaze Spikers. Datuin had to adjust. But sends it out of bounds.
She wasn't already in the position, to spike the ball. Though Kaylee Mans gave her the third ball.
Yarionko back on deck to serve. 5 serving 4. Mans gets under it. Sends it to no one.
Yeah. And that was out. Another point for RC Cola.
Michiko Castañeda unable to get to that one. For a setter, you're a reinforcement and you're a setter. I'm sure it's no easy job to immediately just blend in and gel with your teammates. So it's really doubly difficult for a reinforcement who's also a setter to get within the flow of the game here in a very short conference as well.
Yeah, but as a setter, it's like you're the driver of the team, so you need to encourage your teammates to perform well. Because if you don't encourage them, you don't tell them, we have to work inside the court, then how can you score a point?
You also have to work double time on plays like what Kaylee Mans was trying to execute early on for Datuin earlier, and then Nikki Castañeda.
I think that's the kind of attitude that Kaylee Mans have inside the court. That let's win this game every time.
Here's Kaylee, sets it up for Christy Jaco. Off the blocker, but good coverage by Cases. D-Mac sends it over to Emily Brown.
Nice dig by the libero section.
Main and tail on the counter. D-Mac to Bonita Wise.
That went out. Too strong.
But what effort from both teams now. Making sure they cover their blockers at the back row. Both teams trading leads. Earlier it was main and tail, now it's RC Cola Air Force. Chance to tie now.
Good
main and tail, but
it
sends it out of bounds. And RC Cola Air Force heads into the first technical timeout with a lead, 8-6. Let's start for RC Cola Air Force, leading 8-6. As we remind everyone, Manny Pacquiao and Chris Algeria are out to prove that they are hungry for glory as they face one another in Macau on November 23. Watch the fight exclusively on Solar Sports. And talk about a team that's hungry for glory as well. RC Cola Air Force just looking to live up to the expectation of a lot of people. Of course, being the finalists for the All-Filipino Conference, they want to be a contender, not a pretender. Bonita Wise puts it down.
Yes, another sliding to the right, and she gets a score. 3-point lead by RC Cola.
So far, you've seen how Bonita Wise and Emily Brown play. If you were in the shoes of Freya de Maculangan, what's the perfect way for you to set up Emily Brown and Bonita Wise?
Well, I think although they have very powerful imports, one thing is de Maculangan, I'm talking about de Maculangan, should also utilize Cases and Yonko. Distribution of balls and executions of a lot of plays, will really help them point a lot of scores.
And 3-point advantage for RC Cola Air Force, 10-7 as we turn it over to Selena Dagdag.
Yes,
James and Sheila. In the huddle that just occurred, RC Cola's coach Robel was very clear as regards to what he wants to witness from his team coming into the remainder of the set. That is for them to start strong and finish strong. In order to do this, he instructs his team to open up their communication lines and be more vocal for support when needed inside the court. Now, aside from this, he also expects to see initiative from his team and he wants them to be more aggressive, particularly on their offense. Lastly, coach reminds his white shirts to be watchful of their spacing in order to avoid defensive lapses. That is all for now, James and Sheila.
Excellent report from Selena Dagdagan. We talked about that during the pregame. You know, offensive firepower, not a problem for RC Cola Air Force if everyone is healthy and fighting. It's covering the floor, covering the blockers that really needs to be addressed for RC Cola Air Force.
And we are seeing actually a good floor defenses showcasing by both teams.
Passes attack doesn't go. That one from Mabayad. Slowed down. Brown from the back row. Maynitail trying to save it, but they give up a chance ball. D-Mac with a jump set for Bonita Wise. Attack doesn't fall. Another chance ball given up. Or rather, a setup for Christy Jekyll was blocked away.
No rejection by Di Maculangan. That was a good read by Rhea Di Maculangan.
Let's take a look at that again. Back row attack. It was so high, I thought it was a chance ball. But it went to Christy Jekyll. It was blocked away by Rhea Di Maculangan. 11-8 advantage now for RC Cola Air Force. The All-Filipino Conference best setter on deck to serve.
Illegal violation, illegal rotation by Maynitail.
And they've had a couple of that even during their last game against the Fulton Tornadoes.
You know, sometimes when you're really into the game, or you are enjoying at the same time, you forgot your positions, but, you know, that's not an excuse.
Back set. The attack
that was
blocked away once again. And the net defense of RC Cola Air Force coming into full effect. Earlier it was Rhea Di Maculangan, this time Bonita Wise. 13 serving 8. D-Mac back on deck. Jaco off speed. Chance for RC Cola Air Force. Yonko got the check ball.
Yes, and that went on the line. Another point for RC Cola.
And that'll send us into this timeout. RC Cola Air Force with the lead, 14-8. Let's try to listen in.
Kamay. Hindi yung dalawang braso, hindi yung dalawang kamay. Walang established yan eh. Okay, just relax. Everybody's so tense. Okay, tingnan mo yung katabi mo. Nagbago tayo ng formation, di ba? It was not the same. Okay, we have two rotations. We lost 2 points. Okay? Sigaw mo, doon ka. Ba't ba nahihiya kayo dyan? Okay? Come on, it's not yet over. It's only 6 points. Okay? We can still catch up.
Yeah, talking about why they committed to illegal rotations, because Coach Vicente just mentioned that they have changed their position, their formation, their floor defense. That's why the players are not that really into, you know, the new position or new floor defense.
And towards the end of that, he was saying, Coach Francis Vicente was telling everyone, just talk to each other, you know, tell everyone to be in position. That's not the right place. Let's see if those adjustments can be addressed here. Jump set again from the back row. That's good.
She found the spot at the back line.
And Christy Jekyll still very hot from the 40-point performance. Makes it 9-14. A strong service. And Lilette Mabayad serves it up.
Emily Brown wasn't able to receive that ball.
Lilette Mabayad back on deck to serve. 10 serving 14 here in set number 1. Unfortunately overcooks that one.
That goes wide.
But again, you can't really fault her for trying to load it up. It's basically a free point if you do score from the service line. Need to Wise. Mans trying to to combine with Mitch Datuin. Doesn't go. Cases on the other side. Jacob from the back row. And when you have the hammer, Sheila, you have to put it down.
That's too strong for Emily Brown. And we're seeing actually a lot of spikes coming from Jacob from the back row, not from the front line.
You know, when you have a power hitter from the back row, that really loads up the offense. And it's a higher percentage hitter. You know you have a 40-point scorer in Christy Jacob. So I guess that's what Kaylee Mans is doing. Just trying to get her on fire first.
That's right. You know, Kaylee Mans has really trust Christy Jacob.
16-11 advantage for RC Cola Air Force. For everyone watching here at the Cuneta Astrodome and those of you watching at Solar Sports, the RC Cola Air Force Raiders with a solid start here, up by 5, 16-11. Mickey Castañeda and the rest of the Lady Stallions trying to counter. Emily Brown, Joy Cases has been in the scoring early. She is on deck to serve. Well, they're also fortunate that they've been also capitalizing on the errors of Maine and Taylor Leon.
That's right.
And look at Joy Cases serve it up.
That's too strong for the libero as a shot.
17-11 now. For RC Cola Air Force, Joy Cases finding the mark, serving it up. That time no whistle yet from the game official, so Joy Cases will get one more chance now on the service line. You know, it obviously is no secret that when the locals are scoring early for RC Cola Air Force, the game becomes much easier. Jacob tries to put it over. Yonko sets up Emily Brown, but no goal.
That's a good dig by the Assumption.
Good reception, leading to that attack.
That's too strong for the blocker. Ortiz and Yonko.
Let's take a look at that again. Because of the great dig, Kaylee Mans was able to set it up. Christy Jacob winds it up and puts it down.
Yes, and the libero wasn't able to receive that ball.
12 serving 17 in set number 1. Maine and Tail looking to wake up.
Miscommunication there, committed by Maine and Tail.
There was almost a great save there. But again, at least you can see them now sliding their feet. It's just a matter of actually getting to that spot.
Look, I observed that compared to their game before, you know, the Maine and Tail are performing, you know, their floor defense.
And again, Christy Jacob on the board. Power hitter.
As if there was no blocker.
The former University of Florida Gator. Keeping Maine and Tail in the game. 13 serving 18. D-Mac sends it over to Brown down the line for the finish.
Open, yes. There was only one blocker. Middle blocker Mabay wasn't able to, you know, run to Castañeda.
Let's take a look at it again. Emily Brown just measuring the defense and finding the opening for the finish.
And it's really open. No blockers.
Micah Ortiz on deck to serve.
That went wide by Micah Ortiz.
You rarely see that.
Yes. The angle. You know when you serve, according to my coach before, you should watch your feet. You know, the direction of your feet shows where the ball is going to.
Almaceta with the reception. D-Mac sends it over to Emily Brown off the blocker, but could not get the finish. Emily Brown just looking at the coaching staff.
According to the referee, it's outside, giving Maine and Tail another score, another point.
Maine and Tail starting to close the gap here. 15-19. 9 errors from the Stallions, 6 for RC Cola Air Force. But RC Cola Air Force within 5 points of taking set number 1. Emily Brown on deck. Former University of Kansas Jayhawk, Emily Brown. Oh, Yonko with a great dig. D-Mac sets it up for Brown, floats it over, gets the finish.
Yes, there was, again, another hole in the middle.
You don't have to go all power all the time. Just be crafty. Just be sneaky. You'll get it in. Timeout call on the floor.
Inside. If you involve inside.
Do something. That's it. I mean,
Okay? Get the ball. Get the ball.
for like 5 hours.
Okay, it's not yet over. Still 4 points away. Okay? So we can chase that 21. How can we chase that? We receive the ball well. We defend the ball. Be active. Communicate with each other. Remind each other to move. Okay? It's not yet over. Okay? So, relax. We are so tense. Okay?
Yes, Coach Francis Vicente highlighted actually 4 points during that timeout. Receive defense, move more, and of course, to relax. They look so tense inside the court that they cannot move very well while giving a lot of scores to RC Cola.
I remember some of the volleyball coaches I've talked to in the past is reminding their players to stay on the balls with their feet. So try to defend the floor. Lucky for them.
Service error by Emily Brown. You know, when you play and you are intense, you are nervous, it'll be difficult actually for you to move inside the court because you are so focused on how you're going to play the game and forgetting already how well you could perform instead.
16 serving 21. D-Mac with the back set for Bonita Wise. Same attack, same result.
Sliding to the right and giving them another point.
And you can see the synergy developing here between Rhea de Maculangan and Bonita Wise is figuring out ways how to best maximize and utilize the reinforcement.
And that's what we're expecting here from our imports.
22 serving 16. Cross-court setup. Kaylee Mance couldn't put it over. Yoko sends it to Casillas. Off the bugger, gets the finish.
That was too strong for Led Mabayad.
Joy Casillas in the game early. 23-16 advantage for RC Cola Air Force. This places that one safely in. Strong attack for Mabayad.
And that's a good point. Good, giving them their 17th point for this set.
17 serving 23. Don't look now, man. And Tail looking to make a late run here.
I think there's a good timeout call there by Coach Vicente.
Casillas couldn't put it down. They go to the other side. Casillas gets under it. Bonita Wise gets it back. The block and the kill for Main and Tail. Mitch at the win, throwing it down. Give Main and Tail. At this point, as you look at the excellent net here, I think it actually went off Kaylee Mance. Block coverage not quick enough for RC Cola Air Force. Main and Tail within 5 points, 18 serving 23. D-Mac had to adjust. Yoko sends it over, but no go. Kaylee Mance on the attack. Emily Brown with the dig. Joy Casillas.
Kaylee Mance here is a utility spiker already.
Playing multiple positions. And it pays off. Main and Tail again on the board.
Oh, this is my first time to see Kaylee Mance spiking.
With Kaylee Mance on the attack now. So let's see what Main and Tail has in store for RC Cola Air Force. This is a surprise move, actually. How to get Kaylee in a different position.
Yeah, let's see if that is effective.
Oh, but a double touch ruled on Main and Tail. So RC Cola now at set point in set number 1. On deck to serve, Bonita Wise. Mance with a lefty shot, no goal. D-Mac to Joy Casillas, off the blocker, still in play. One more chance for RC Cola Air Force, but Ortiz couldn't put it down. Mance with the attack and the finish.
First point there by Kaylee Mance as a spiker this time.
That's a surprise move. We have Sara Espelita now setting the table for Main and Tail, and Kaylee Mance Up high, down hard for
Now,
the finish.
we're seeing adjustments coming from the main and tail done by Coach Francis Vicente.
20 serving 24. Target Balmaceda on that one. Casas. That's good. That one goes over.
That was out.
Oh, from this angle, it looked like it was good for Joy Casas.
That's wearing a triple block, but there was an opening for her, but it goes wide.
Main and tail within 3. They target Emily Brown on that service. Oh, they had to adjust on that one. Joy
Now let's
Casas.
see.
Mance again, but no goal. Quick setup job, but excellent dig at the back row. Jacob has to adjust, and she will score.
That's right. Another point there for main and tail.
A furious rally towards the end of the first set, 22-24. RC Colas for time.
We're up by 2. Okay? You have to make a good receive. Good receive. Kaya, di ba? Pwede mo naman gawing likod. Andito ka, Joy, di ba, Joy? Andito ka. Ikaw dito ka. Pag binigay sa'yo, paluin mo down the line. Bigyan mo siya ng isang blocker. Pwede ka mag running 4. Huwag mo na patrisin kung ito bibigyan mo. Di ba? Yun. Running 4. Oh, running 4. Oh. Running mahaba, pwede mo shoot sa 4. Di ba? Bato mo sa open. Yeah.
And that coach, he said that they only need good receive so that they can get their last point for this set. Also giving instructions to Yari Yoko. She has an option if she'll go running or she'll go 4.
It basically depends on what Rhea de Maculangan reads the best option. The sequence. Let's see what RC Cola will run here. Oh, Balmaceda had to get under it. Yoko adjusts, gets it off the blocker. Chance for main and tail. Christy Jacob blocked away and stays down. RC Cola Air Force will take set number 1, 25-22, fending off that furious rally towards the end by main and tail. Set number 2 when we come back to PSL Grand Prix and Solar Sports. Main and tail Stallions looking at the numbers of that first set, but we have to talk about the way Rhea de Maculangan was able to distribute the ball very well for the Raiders in the first set.
Yes, giving them 11 points and committing only 10 errors. Di Maculangan is really utilizing all her spikers, which is needed, for them to get this game.
But on the other side, main and tail had a surprise move towards the end of
that's
set
a
number
very
1.
big adjustment done by Coach Francis Vicente, converting Kaylee Mans from a setter to a spiker in the utility area. But I think the setter, Espelita, and Kaylee Mans still has to communicate inside the court and be able to, to talk about what kind of ball Espelita will give Kaylee Mans.
That's not a usual adjustment, getting your first choice at setter to be an attacker, and then you get your second setter, Sara Espelita from Colegio de San Juan de Letran, to be the one directing the action for main and tail.
Well, I think that adjustment done by Coach Vicente is he is trying to utilize Kaylee Mans as a blocker. Her position is in the 4th utility, as we call it, and then on the opposite side, it's the open spiker. Now, as a tall setter, Coach Francis Vicente is trying to make her block or utilize her blocking.
Well, as we prepare to start set number 2, what are the adjustments that you'd like to see from both teams? Let's talk about main and tail first.
Well, main and tail, I think they are actually doing a good floor defense. However, they have to minimize their illegal position errors. They have committed 2 of that in the first set. Well, you cannot blame them because according to Coach Francis Vicente, they just changed the floor defense of main and tail.
And on the other side of the floor, what would you like to see more from RC Cola Air Force?
RC Cola Air Force should just continue, the Maculangan distributing equally her balls to all her spikers.
Castaneda was blocked in that one. Good coverage for RC Cola Air Force. Casas from the other side. Excellent dig at the back row, and Jekyll's attack just goes out of bounds.
That was too wide and too long for Christy Jekyll.
Christy Jekyll aggressive early for main and tail. Kaylee Mans back to her usual position as a setter. Mans the jump set for Christy Jacob. Finds the opening from the plunge.
And that was too strong for the libero, Balmaceda. Getting their first point this second set.
That's just a smart decision on Kaylee Mans' part to go to your highest percentage attacker.
Yes, a good setup there by Kaylee Mans, and too strong. Good angle for Christy Jacob.
D-Max with a jump set for Yari Yoko.
And that was a great opening, good opening. The blocker, Michelle Detoen, was too slow and wasn't able to stop that Yari Yonko from spiking that ball.
3 serving 1. RC Cola Air Force looking to start off strong once again here in set number 2. Concepcion slows that one down. Fajardo sends it over to Jaco. Off speed, doesn't go. Quick combination, doesn't go for Mike Ortiz. One more chance for RC Cola Air Force. Cases blocked. Chance for Main and Tail. The dump.
Smart play there
finish
by Kaylee Mans. That is actually the advantage of a setter. As a mature player and a setter, a tall one also. She can really put the ball whenever she wants to. Look at that.
Hang time and the bang time with Kaylee Mans. And that's a huge luxury as well when you have a setter who can also put points on the board.
That's right. Too strong. Christy Jacob misreceived there by Joy Cases.
You're all tied up 3-all. You're in set number 2. Christy Jacob back on deck to serve. D-Mac sends it over to Yarioko. Off the blocker gets the finish.
That was out, giving RC Cola their 4th point.
Earlier, D-Mac was setting up Joy Cases in set number 1. Now, she wants a different option now, trying to go for Yarioko.
That's correct. Utilizing every spiker she has in the front line.
4 serving 3. Fajardo off the blocker.
Another smart play there by Fajardo. She intentionally spiked the ball on the hands of the blocker so that it will go outside, giving them another point.
Turning out to be a competitive second set. Statuin on deck to serve. Oh, combination Ortiz.
But that was too low. Yeah, that was too low for Michael Ortiz.
And for a setter, that's always a challenge. What's the right set for the right person?
If you're going to give a ball to this open, middle, and then in the 4th utility area, it's a higher setup. But if you're going to give the ball like be quick, that's the setter's responsibility on how high or how low we should give the ball to the spiker.
Yarioko back on deck to serve. Mans had to get under that one. Jago from the back row. Yoko digs it up. Babaya the dump, but doesn't fall. Brown from the other side.
That was out.
There's
good
too
read.
much power on that one.
And that was a good read there by Concepcion.
Ambitious attempt from Emily Brown. Unfortunately, just sails over. Main and Tail retakes the lead, 6-5. Running attack for Mike Ortiz. Puts it down. That's a trademark Mike Ortiz move.
A running spike from Mike Ortiz.
UST connection there with Rhea de Macalan and Mike Ortiz. Ortiz targeting Jaco on the service. Chance for RC Cola Air Force.
Free ball.
Chance for Main and Tail. Concepcion sets up Jaco, almost getting the friendly roll. Yonko to the other side.
Block there.
D-Mac back to Brown, puts it down.
And that gave her another point. Emily Brown finding an open spot.
Former University of Kansas Jayhawk, Emily Brown. When you have the hammer, you put it down.
And that was what Coach Vicente was talking about, communication, because the ball went in between Concepcion and Jaco.
Go Concepcion. Bad reception on the part of Main and Tail. RC Cola Air Force goes to the first technical timeout with the lead. in set number 2, and the PSL face-off is back. Choose from 32 players. Who gets the title of this conference? Log on now to www.solarentertainmentcorp.com to vote. And of course, you can holler at us on our different social media accounts on Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitter. And RC Cola Air Force again with a strong start here in set number 2. Earlier, Di Macolana was going to Joy Cases for scoring. This time, Yari Yonko and Emily Brown in the act. And Bonita Wise blocks it away, puts it away.
Finally, they were able to stop, the back line spike from Christy Jago.
That's been such a dangerous weapon for main and tail Christy Jago at the back row. They target Jago on the service. Combination play, Mabayad couldn't score. Emily Brown puts it down.
And that was another point there from Emily Brown.
11-6 advantage for RC Cola Air Force in set number 2. As we try to listen in.
Pumapalo, dos. Okay, you know already that the percentage of the set would be coming from her. Okay, why are you not ready for that? Okay, let us be focused inside the game. Okay, the only person in front would spike very hard will be number 2. So focus that one. Okay, then you watch the setter. Where will the setter place the ball? Sit at the back or in front? Okay, you should always be in front of the setter. Reading it.
Yes, coming from that timeout, Coach Vicente highlighted again that the ball only will go to Emily Brown because that's a highest rather percentage that the Rhea de Macolangan could set the ball to. So the blockers, Mabayad and La Castañeda, should only focus on blocking, Emily Brown.
Please try to minimize the high percentage scores. Castañeda going to put it down that time. Back set for Wise.
Good setup there by Di Macolangan. And the floor defense of Main Tail was not ready for that.
Hard to be ready for a spike as hard as this one. Bonita Wise up high, down strong. 6-point advantage now for the Raiders. 12 serving 6. Mans the back set. Fajardo off the blocker. And that one is good. Fajardo looking to spark a fight in the Main and Tail Stallions. 7 serving 12 in set number 2. Good reception for this setup, the windup and the finish.
That was too strong for Lilet Mabayad, but there was an opening between Castañeda and Mabayad.
And talk about how RC Cola Air Force has been receiving very well in this set.
Yes, good receive actually will give Di Macolangan the chance to distribute evenly the ball to all her spikers in the front line.
Esime Acuña from Trinity University of Asia now in the game for Main and Tail. Jacob from the other side.
Good set there. A nice spike by Christy Jago from the open area.
And the prolific Christy Jago. This time from another position, but the same result. 8-point on the board for Main and Tail. 8 serving 13. Mabayad rather on deck.
That goes long.
Sends it away. And those errors here and there are just allowing RC Cola to build up the lead. But if anything, Main and Tail has shown the ability to come back strong like they did at the end of this first set. Batuin gives up the chance ball. Macolanga, other side, Cases. Denied, but ball still in play for RC Cola. Brown couldn't score from the back row. Fajardo to Jaco and another chance ball. D-Mac sets it off. Yonko with a windup, but no finish. A good rally here in the second set. Jaco.
Good read there by Di Macolangan.
This time a chance ball from RC Cola Air Force. Mans to Jaco, puts it down.
That's right. Too strong for the libero, Balmaceda again.
No hesitation, pure devastation.
Though the set of mans was a bit short for Christy Jago.
But look at Jago's ability to adjust, penetrate, devastate. Mane and tail down, 9 serving 14 in set number 2. Ezime Acuna just with a solid service that time. Yoko had to adjust, but you know, with a poor reception, it makes the job harder for the center, and usually that's the result for your attacker. Mane and tail within 4. Acuna back on deck, 10 serving 14. D-Mac, the fake, the shot.
And that goes out for Joy Casas. Now the lead of RC Cola is down to 3.
11 serving 14. RC Cola was arguing for a check ball, but none given. Di Makulangan sends it over to Yariyoko. Good coverage by Mitch the Twin. Jago had to adjust. Ambitious attempt.
Smart
And
play
that
there.
one is good.
Just a dip and gave them another point from the back row.
Let's take a look at it again. Oh, just
It
barely
went on the
grazing the
line.
line.
Yes. You know, I see a lot of smart plays coming from Mans and Christy Jago.
RC Cola Air Force lead down to 2. D-Mac the back set for Bonita Wise. Blocked that time.
And the ball is up.
Ball doesn't fall. D-Mac with a quick setup for Joy Casas.
Good dip.
Concepcion diving for it. And Acuna gives up the chance ball. D-Mac. Yariyoko couldn't score.
And Mans giving it away.
The adjustment.
Oh.
And no finish. Finally the exclamation for RC Cola Air Force. Everyone on the floor just desperately protecting the floor.
Concepcion was able to get the drop ball there. However, Michelle the Twin wasn't able to put it across the net.
You see the frustration on the face of Kaylee Mans.
Well, you can see how passionate she is.
15 serving 12. Oh, Acuna unprepared for that one.
Service is from Bonita Wise.
16 to 12 advantage for RC Cola Air Force into the second technical timeout.
I've fallen in love.
Again, a strong second set for RC Cola Air Force. Now up 16 to 12 as we say thank you to everyone watching live here. Thank you to Astro, and of course to everyone watching at home. And at the Astro missed the stage for our protagonists today. And RC Cola Air Force doing an excellent job so far, taking care of the breaks and taking care of business.
That's correct.
Oh, Jago up high, down hard for the finish. And RC Cola, or Mane and tail rather, cutting the lead down to 3, 13 serving 16 as we send it over to Salina Dagdag.
Yes, James and Sheila, just as how it was in the earlier set, Mane and Tail's coach Francis believes that their main problem still lies in their communication. Diniin ni coach na dapat huwag silang mahiya mag-usap-usap sa loob ng court in order for them to synchronize their attacks. Now, in addition, coach wants his lady stallions to come more alive by having a deeper sense of responsibility. He demands to witness increased mobility and presence of mind on court, as this is what he believes the girls have been lacking right from the very beginning of the game. He also said that the team seriously needs to loosen up as their tense errors have been the very thing that's killing them. Ika nga ni coach, parang nasobrahan kayo sa kape. Dapat Ovaltine ang inumin nyo, James and Sheila.
Well, I for one, I love coffee. I cannot work without it. But sometimes, if you're too tense, that's what happens. You basically beat yourself before the battle even starts.
Well, that is actually, I think, what is happening to Mane and Tail. They need to loosen up, as what their coach have mentioned.
Well, I'm sure Selena later can check out what Kaylee Mans, of course, being the captain as well, of Mane and Tail is saying during the huddles. As Mitch Netawin is on deck to serve. 14 serving 17, unfortunately commits an error. lead back up to 4 for the RC Cola Air Force Raiders. Yarionko on deck. Oh, Mans with the dump and the finish.
That was Yurina. She saw that there was nobody, blocking her way. That's why dipping it in that area, giving them another point.
Very competitive. Kaylee Mans on deck to serve. D-Mac sends it over to Brown.
Good block by Mabayan.
Back set this time. Other side to Ortiz. Mabayan gets this one.
There was a hesitation between the libero Balmaceda and Joy Casas in the back row.
Sometimes when it's in between you, that's where the confusion lies. So who's going to get it?
So that's where communication comes in. But since the libero is there, it's actually the libero's job to get the ball.
Brown puts it down. Always go to your high percentage scorer. That's what Emily Brown is doing. Keeping RC Cola Air Force with this comfortable lead, 19 serving 16. Mans the back set for Fajardo. Blocked away, but goes out of bounds.
That's right. The spike that Fajardo was giving to the blocker, making it hit the blocker's hand and then bouncing it outside, giving them another point.
17 serving 19. Close second set between Main and Tail and RC Cola Air Force. Emily Brown. Ambitious attempt. Doesn't go.
And the lead now is down to 1.
Closest it's ever been since the start of the second set. Chance to equalize for Main and Tail. Targeting Yonko on that one. Bonita Wide running attack.
And that goes out, according to our linesman.
Now we're all tied up, 19 points apiece. Rosan Fajardo on deck to serve. Emily Brown winds it up. Off the blocker, but good coverage at the back row. High setup for Jacob. Blocked up top. Both teams with excellent net coverage here. And that one is good for Emily Brown.
Well, Lilet Mabayad was late. And, she wasn't able to just only touch the ball. Not stopping Emily Brown from spiking it in the open.
8th attack so far for Emily Brown.
Again, another illegal rotation from Main and Tail.
I think that's a third one.
Yes, the third one.
There's Jaco asking for the clarification here. This has been a recurring theme now for Main and Tail from their last game against the Fulton Tornadoes. Hopefully, especially in tight sets as this one,
the referee was pointing out to the libero. The libero should not block, rather, Kaylee Mans in the front row.
21 serving 19. Mans the back set for Lilet Mabayad.
Too low. That hit the white line on top of the net.
And 4 touches on the Lady Stallions, trailing 19 to 22 in set number 2.
Last few points, give it all to him. No.
I don't
You're
understand.
this
Leia
one.
said this way, though. She
You're
pushed
this
me
one.
that way.
You're this one at the middle. She
So
overlapped.
she pushed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Overlapped.
I have to be on your right, not your left. So don't move me. I'll just pay attention. Don't move me.
Overlap ka sa likod niya eh.
Fine. Ikaw nga yung dulo.
Gumagalaw ka, siya nandun na eh. Nandun na siya. Ikaw, umuusog ka pa ng umuusog pa kanan eh. Okay? So, give Christy on the ball.
Yep.
Okay? You ready? I told her.
Yeah.
Kaylee Mans was with conviction instructing her teammate, what kind of ball she will give to her spiker. That's how mature I think Kaylee Mans is.
Look at Christy Jago still pumping up the troops here. still within striking distance. Down by 3, 19 to 22. Oh, that one is good from the service line.
That wasn't a good, that wasn't a good mistake, you know. Coming from a timeout.
23 serving 19. RC Cola Air Force with the lead. Man sends it over to the other side. Jaco blocked the top. Ball doesn't fall. And RC Cola gives up the chance ball. Man's back to Jaco. Puts it down.
Prix Jaco is unstoppable in the front row and the back row.
What a luxury to have a scoring machine like Christy Jaco, who winds it up and throws it down.
Even the blockers cannot stop her.
20 serving 23. Excellent save for this attack by Casas. A great dig by Fajardo. Jaco off 2 blockers. But the RC Cola Libero working doubly hard to protect the floor as well. Mans back to Jaco.
Again, another point from their highest scorer, Main and Tail.
It is no secret what Main and Tail's strategy is. Give it to Jaco, and she will make a win.
Run. Same play. Run. Open. Yun lang. Palayo si Jagger. Ha? Open. Run. Open. Ngayon, kung gusto mo bigyan talaga, huwag ka magpaparan. Diba? Bigyan mo siya ng harap lang, huwag ka magpapabig. Kasi sumasabay yung off striker pag nag-disball. Pwede mo siya bigyan ng harap lang. Kung siya gusto mo bigyan. Pero, basic tayo. Running open. Bigay mo rito. Ha? Okay. Go.
Hey, hold on.
Crystal, up ito. Okay.
Coach Verayo giving the kind of play Di Makulangan should give her players. It's either open or running in. The kind of play will deceive or will rather make the blockers of a Main and Tail separate. That's another smart play there.
Well, you have Mitch Natuin, Christy Jaco, and Hezime Acuña up front, so that's a formidable front line defense for Main and Tail. Let's see what RC Cola will run this time. Oh, Di Makulangan with a dump. Doesn't catch a defense snapping. Jaco off speed. Scrambling defense for RC Cola Air Force, giving up a chance ball. Jaco, other side. Excellent dig.
Free ball. Again.
One more chance here for Main and Tail. Jaco, with force, puts it down.
Cutting the lead down to 1 by Main and Tail. Christy Jaco, 3 consecutive sets. Same power, same energy. Let's see, one more time.
You know, we usually harp on ball distribution here, but when you have someone who is on fire, you keep feeding the hot hand.
That's right, you know, percentage, the highest scorer, utilizing in the front line.
By after the service. Casas couldn't score. Mans, back to Jaco. You can see it coming, but that one was stuffed. Here's Casas.
And the ball is alive. Free ball.
Gives up the chance ball. One more chance for RC Cola. Joust at the top. Ball doesn't fall. Casas, one more try. Ball doesn't fall. Excellent rally in set number 2. One more try for Casas. Still doesn't go.
And the ball goes to Christy Jaco.
And ball still doesn't fall. Both teams play excellent defense in this rally. Jaco with the dump. Casas keeps it alive. Benito Wise had to adjust. Ball still in play. Attack not over, and an error is the explanation.
Christy Jaco did not have enough time, to prepare for that ball.
She's human after all.
Well, giving her most of the sets.
And a sigh of relief for Rhea Di Makulangan as RC Cola at set point in set number 2.
That miss receive actually was converted to a point there.
Main and Tail down by just a solitary point.
And they are still alive on this set.
The Desiree Acuna on deck.
I think this is the strongest front row players that the Tail has.
Oh, Tatuin almost scores that time. Yarionko blocked away!
Alright, and now we're tied up at 24.
Again, another furious rally towards the end of this set. The question is, which team will be the better closer? Tie game, 24 all. Yarionko loads it up.
It went out.
They have a chance to close this extended set. Up by a solitary point, 25 to 24.
And the twin is not smiling anymore.
Rita Wise with the service. Jacob. Attack not over, and RC Cola Air Force escaping by the skin of their teeth, 26 to 24 in set number 2. Will they get this game in set number 3? We will find out when we come back here on Solar Sports. Giving the set to the other team.
Well, you know, that's that's actually obviously seeing that Christy Jago, like what you said earlier, is a human only, giving her, you know, 3 or 4 consecutive spikes. I think it will make it harder for her, you know, to hit the ball with the same level of intensity and power.
Yarionko was the local star of the second set. In the first set, it was Joy Cases. That Rey de Macolano was feeding. At the same time, making sure Emily Brown and Bonita Wise got their touches. I'm also curious to see what other surprises Coach Francis Vicente has up his sleeve. Earlier, it was transforming KB Mance into an attacker. So let's see what he'll do for set number 3. Back set this time for Yarionko. Off speed, but good dig by Acuna. Mance to Jacob. Oh, the net slowed that one down. Yonko sends it over to Joy Cases, blocked away. Got the win protecting the net. Yonko over the defense, puts it down.
Christy Jago was late for that ball.
And you know, as we head into the deeper rounds here in this matchup, you know Kaylee Mance and Christy Jago have that sort of connection. But I think this is the time for the setter to, you know, will it be that time to vary it up or just keep feeding the high percentage score?
Well, I think Kaylee Mance should also have the same connection she has with Christy Jekyll to other local players of Moon and Tail. Because in that case, you know, it will be easier for her, you know, to set up the ball and then it'll be converted to a point.
And the Macolangan on deck to serve. Oh, Tatuin has to give it up. Chance for RC Cola Air Force. Cases, open, no. Kaylee Mance trying to get the defense snapping, and she does.
Yes. You know, her peripheral vision, well, she saw, you know, that there was no one in the back row giving a long that ball, unable for Emily Brown to receive it.
You know, her court sense, talking about Kaylee Mance, is impeccable.
Which is really, you know, important if you are a setter.
Cases that attack getting the antenna. Point will go to main and tail. Well, as we get into set number 3 again, you saw main and tail finally figure it out towards the end of that second set, but unfortunately just falling short. What would you like to see from the Lady Stars in this set?
Well, I hope that they will be more consistent, you know, when it comes to their floor defense, because you know that's what is Kaylee Mann wants. You know, for her to be able to set the ball the way she wanted. You know, for her spikers, she needs a very good receive.
And on the other side for RC Cola Air Force, as Bonita Wise diving for it. Again, this is the time when they really have to up the ante. They've had flashes of brilliance even in their opening day matchup with Signal Uchi. It's just a matter of them coming together and closing things out.
Well, that actually isn't easy for everyone since they have imports. You know that when it comes training, you know, training and communication is really essential.
Jump serve by Fajardo. Combination play for Ortiz doesn't go. Mans to Jacob. Oh, what a dive for Emily Brown, and they give up a chance ball. Mans back to Jacob.
Again.
But good coverage at the back row. Other side for Cases. Off the blocker. Jacob diving for it. And another chance ball given up by Main and Tail. D-Mac. Jump set to Yonko. Good rally in set number 3. Jacob with the exclamation.
Good play there by Kaylee Mans.
Christy Jacob still as lethal as they come. In set number 3, up by a solitary point for serving 3.
Just by looking at them, you will see how well, they gel inside the court.
Joy Casas. Kaylee Mann sends it over. Here's Yarionko. Other side, gets it a go.
Finding an open spot there, no blockers, giving her a good angle.
More serving 7. Yarionko stops the bleeding. While Joy Casas heads to the line to serve. 3-point advantage for Main and Tail. Good reception. Oh, but no one was there.
Miscommunication, yes, between Kaylee Mans and Milet Mabayad. Now I think Mabayad, Kaylee Mans was giving her a running attack, but Mabayad opted to go for the middle.
How does a setter really figure out how to set up the attacker? Do you say it right before the setup or prior to that, before the service is given?
Well, in my case, it actually sometimes happens during the play. Well, but there is this communication only the spiker and the setter can understand, like giving her the ball or instructions while playing.
Because obviously, when you're playing with the middle hitter like Milet Mabayad, you can go for the quick combination.
That's right.
Or running attack.
You call it quick, big quick, or running spike.
It's up to them to really figure out what to do. It's Christy Jacob with a near facial.
That's right.
And she sends Main and Tail into the first technical timeout with the lead, 8-6. Technical timeout in set number 3 with the lead, 8-6. As you look at Kaylee Mans gathering troops, Emily Brown trying to keep her team in the game. Before we went on break, we were talking about difficulties in setting here. Kaylee Mans has had some excellent sets for Christy Jacob. It's about getting the other ones involved. And you were explaining to me the different options that the setter has.
Yes, it actually boils down, when during the game, how the setter reads the ball, it actually depends on the receive, of course, on what kind of ball she'll give. If it's an open spike, or if it's a deep quick, or a quick, or running spike.
So between the two of them, Kaylee Mans for Main and Tail, and Rete Maculangan for RC Cola Air Force, who has been doing a better job so far?
Wow, that's a very tough question, but actually they are two different setters. I see more high balls coming from Rhea de Maculangan, while from Kaylee Mans, she's actually having this several kinds of balls given to her spikers.
9-7 advantage for Main and Tail against RC Cola Air Force as we turn it over to Selena Dagdag.
Yes, in the huddle that just occurred, RC Cola's coach Robil's very first words to his team was this: kalimutan niyo na ang lahat ng errors mo at mag-focus kayo sa laban at sa set na ito. Coach doesn't want his team becoming overconfident. Again, he reminds his Raiders of their tendency to be lax during the latter sets as seen in their past games. This is why now, more than ever, he calls for consistency yet again. Huling din ni Coach, kung kaya niyo nang patayin ang bola, patayin niyo na agad. He wants to see more quick and strong attacks this set. James and Sheila.
Thank you so much, Selena. And those options being brought into the timeout of RC Cola Air Force, I think utilizes the players like Michael Ortiz the best.
But talking about what Selena mentioned earlier, they are already in the third set, and Main and Tail is up by 2. So the RC Cola Raiders should actually exert more effort and forget the first 2 sets. They should not be complacent when it comes to this set.
Main and Tail, their lead starting to swell. 11 serving 8.
And now we're seeing the effect of the adjustments that Coach Vicente was trying to explain earlier.
And that the win, winning this joust at the net, extending the lead 12-8. Main and tail sort of they're like diesel, slow start, but looking to finish strong as Christy Zengel serves up an ace. Coach Robin Verayo sues for time. The RC Cola Air Force Raiders in search for answers.
Agad. Lalo pa itong na-depensahan. Agad. Coverage. Receive. Yeah. Basta muna. Buka rito. Kaya pa yan. Lima. It's only five. Okay, let's go.
Guys.
Go.
Let's go. Come on. Let's go. AIC. Airborne.
Coach Verayo was explaining that the root cause of their error is only defense, and they should cover. Coverage is very essential for the RC Cola Raiders so that main and tail lead will be cut down.
Sometimes you don't need a lot of X's and O's to remind your team of what you have to do. As you look again at the comparison here, RC Cola Air Force with the two service ace advantage against main and tail, but main and tail with the advantage here in set number 3. Again, reminding everyone, Manny Pacquiao and Chris Algieri out to prove that they are hungry for glory as they face one another in Macau, November 23. Watch the fight on Solar Sports. Oh, Bonita Wise with a running attack and the finish. But now they're going back to the reinforcements. Bonita Wise has been lethal with those running attacks. Emily Brown on deck to serve. Back set for Acuna. Brown gets to it. Cross-court setup for Joy Cases, puts it down.
Good setup there by Wendy Simana, and Joy Cases found an opening in between the blockers. Acuna, no, rather it's the two-in and Acuna.
Wendy Simana, of course, a veteran. Oh, that the win that time tried to attack, but just sails over.
That was too long for Mitch to win.
The RC Cola Air Force Raiders looking to capitalize on those errors. Mans, high setup for Jacob, puts it down.
That spike was with thunder and lightning from the right arm of Christy Jago.
Let's take a look at it again. High setup. And perfect attack for Christy Jago, just winding it up and throwing it down.
That was too strong for Yari Yonko.
Semana sends it over to Cases. Trying to adjust, but no goal. Haley Mans gets under it. Jacob measuring the shot. Combination play for Wise. Acuna with a dig. Mans giving up the chance ball. Oh, fake the back set. But attack doesn't go for Cases. Mans with the setup for Fajardo. Oh, that one is good.
There was a hesitation in the part of Wendy Simana and Yari Yonko.
Main and tail protecting their lead. 15 serving 11. Oh, the dump for Semana. That's good.
And the lead cuts down to 3.
Wendy Semana showing Kaylee Mans, you're not the only scoring center over here. Finds a donut hole in the middle. Wendy Semana on deck to serve. May and Pantino now on the floor as well for RC Cola Air Force, replacing Joy Cases. Mans with the back set for Christy Jacob, but attack not over. Couple of attack errors here. Main and tail and RC Cola Air Force within 2.
They have to minimize their errors.
Sara Espelita now on the floor.
Again, we'll see Kaylee Mans as a spiker.
Christy Jekyll with a push. Yonko to the other side. Fantino.
Fantino, that was too long for man Fantino.
And Mainitail goes into the second technical timeout with the lead, 16-13. You look at the comparison between Christy Jekyll and Emily Brown.
Well, basing from our numbers, Christy Jekyll having a huge 20 points. You know, the rest of the team scoring only 20 points, while she has 22 points.
Well, Emily Brown has had a lot of help as well. She hasn't had to do too much. Tiara Yonko right on cue. Putting RC Cola Air Force within 2. 14 serving 16. Back set for Fajardo. Oh, finds the opening for the finish.
And that was a good setup by Kelly Lance, giving it to Fajardo.
And the former CSB Lady Blazer on deck to serve. As you look at this perfect setup, the attack, and the finish. (17 serving 14).
Good receive.
Had to die for it. Ortiz puts it down. You'd like to see more of those from Mike Ortiz. You know what you can get from a Yari Yonko from her position, Joy Casas earlier from her position. Emily Brown, the only reinforcement on the floor now. RC Cola Air Force. Here's Jacob. Oh, almost got the friendly roll. And Ortiz with a quick attack.
Now Semana is maximizing her middle spiker. Mike Ortiz. Look at that.
Again, trying to fake with the back set.
The
just
blockers.
leaning back just a bit.
The blockers of Mainitail were late.
Dino on deck to serve. And score!
Another misreceive coming from the libero Acepcion. Now the game is tied up, 17 apiece.
Just like that, RC Cola coming back, tying the game, 17 all.
What direction of the ball? Okay, the server is there, automatic. It will be on the cross court. Okay? Chances are, it will be on the cross court. You don't look at the server. Who's the server? Sino? 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 Dito nagsaserve yan, oh. Ready kayong dalawa. Hayaan nyo siya doon. Nakikailaman yung pwesto niya eh. Dito kayo. Okay, it's not yet over. 17 all. Receive tayo. We lose the set because of our receive. We always say, I cannot do it. No, you can do it. Hindi pa tapos. Hindi nalulungkot ka dyan. Yes.
Less errors, guys. Come on.
Hindi pa tapos.
Coach Francis Vicente reiterating that the cause of their loss for the past 2 sets was because of receive, and which is apparently what we are seeing now from the Mainitail side. Now, the Coach Francis Vicente says, mind your own places, mind your own areas, and that gives a confusion for the libero when it comes to receiving the ball.
Emily Brown tried to put it down, but the ball doesn't fall. Christy Jekyll off the blocker, couldn't finish. Emily Brown this time. Reinforcement was really being aggressive as Christy Jekyll scores.
We're seeing really we're seeing a good rally here.
Mainitail just like that, regaining the lead. Haley Nance on deck to serve. Semana the jump set to Ortiz. Quick attack, doesn't go. Nance goes to the other side. Semana digs it up. Yonko off to Brown. Floater doesn't go. Jacob off the blocker. Crafty finish.
That was very intentional by Christy Jekyll, dipping in the ball to the hands of the blocker, Yari Yonko, making it bounce off the blockers, giving them another point.
Back set this time for Yari Yonko. Blocked
So,
away.
rejection there by Christy Jacob. Good read.
Meeting her at the top, sending her down. 3-point advantage for Main and Tail. 20-17. Emily Brown. Excellent dig at the back row. Chance for Main and Tail.
Christy Jacob.
And that one is good.
Another point.
The power spiking Christy Jacob leading her team to this 21-17 lead.
Running doon. Ikaw naman, pag binigyan ka ng running doon, papaluin ng cross court. Kasi nandun si Jacob, paluin mo ng down the line. Diba? Iwas mo yung blocker doon kay Jacob, tinan mo yung tao. Bigyan mo yun siya, may ka isa. Okay? Sige, tapos hit the down the line, okay?
Wait, tulak ko. Wait.
Harap mo, harap mo.
Coach Verayo instructing her players to avoid the hands of Christy Jacob, giving them the kind of spike that they will give, like down the line for Emily Brown and running for Michael Ortiz.
Christy Jacob has been very prolific in this game.
Well, Coach Verayo was really good instructing because you can see the front line of Main and Tail, 3 tall blockers.
And Brown puts it down. Well, obviously, Coach Revilla recognizing Jacob's ability to impact the game as well defensively when she's at the net. That time, a good option here. Brown was on the other side. She scores. Quick setup job for Christy Jacob again.
Well, Kaylee Mans always giving her set to their highest scorer of the team. Not letting her down. Giving another point to Main and Tail.
Semana. Fire setup. Ortiz for the quick attack, but the twin sends it away.
That was, the coach Verayo was telling her spikers to avoid the hands of the blockers because they are tall.
23 serving 18.
That goes long for the lead Babayad.
Michael Ortiz on deck to serve. Mans, back to Jacob. Oh,
Good
ball
save.
almost falls. But a trans ball given up. Oh, but that one goes out of bounds. Lucky break for RC Cola Air Force.
Main and Tail thought that the ball is already on the floor.
Lady Sally in super time. Let's try to listen in.
Okay? Receive. We cannot do that without receive. Okay? There's a play. Okay? Go around. Okay? Christy will go around. Okay? Receive. We need receive. 1 point, then serve. Don't target the libero. Okay? Let's go.
Coach Vicente only has one thing to say to his players, and that is receive. Kaylee Mans will not be able to execute a good set if there is no good receive.
RC Cola Air Force down by just 3, catching a break. Mitch the Twins chance ball just sailed out of bounds. Let's see what they'll run here. Oh, attack not over for Christy Jacob.
It didn't go over the net. And the lead now is down to 2. It's still Main and Tail. 2 points away from taking the set.
Little concern on the face of Coach Francis Vicente that time. Back set for Jacob. Puts it down. As lethal as they come, sending this set in the set point. 24 serving 21.
Christy Jacob serving.
Joust at the top. And a lucky penalty break once again for RC Cola Air Force, still alive. 22 serving 24. Kaylee Mans huffing and puffing a little bit. He's had to do a lot for this team.
Setting it up.
Acuna off speed. That's good.
3 players on the floor. Running spike there by Acuna, taking this set 25-22.
What a rally for Main and Tail. They take one set. Set number 4 when we come back. Raiders 25-22 as you look at the numbers in set number 3.
Evidently, their attacks 16-13 in Main and Tail, having 16 points while committing, although they committed a bigger number of errors compared to RC Cola, but still, their attacks made them win and get this the third set.
You can see Christy Jekyll still very lethal on the offensive end. Kaylee Mans played different positions as well. Was that the X factor in that set for Main and Tail?
Well, I think, yeah, it contributed a bit, but, you know, the Main and Tail players was very, I think, versatile in this match, making, or Francis Vicente having different adjustments inside the court, and they were able to, you know, adjust every set.
What was it more like? Was it RC Cola's inability to answer the adjustments, or was it Main and Tail just raising the level of their game to meet RC Cola and take that through the set?
Well, we can see from the numbers, you know, the defense of Main and Tail is apparently, you know, evident actually compared to RC Cola's defense.
Once again, thank you so much for joining us here at the Cuneta Astrodome. For those of you watching at home on Solar Sports, Philippine Superliga Grand Prix. Main and Tail against RC Cola Air Force. James Velasquez on hand. Sheila Soleil and Selena Tagback at courtside. As Bonita Weiss scoring off the running attack for the first point in set number 4. Randy Macalangan on deck to serve for the Raiders. Oh, serves up an ace. Those will certainly help for RC Cola Air Force, letting the previous set go.
That's another expertise of Rhea de Maculangan, service area.
One of the leading servers from the All-Filipino Conference was Rhea de Maculangan. Time in this one, unfortunately, sends it out of bounds.
That was too long for Rhea de Maculangan. First point for Main and Tail.
Hesime Acuna with the exclamation point for the previous set, so her contributions are coming off the bench for Main and Tail, very important for Coach Francis Vicente. Concepcion saving that one. Mabayat couldn't hammer it home.
One more time.
Quick attack for Bonita Wise. That's good. This time, Bonita Wise on the scoring early.
She's a bit quiet, you know, in the first 3 sets.
Saw a little bit of her here and there, but most of the time it is Emily Brown as Jacob puts it down.
Unstoppable Christy Jekyll.
Especially from that position, from the left flank. Just winding it up and puts it down.
She had a good angle there.
Knows how to avoid the blockers.
Yes,
when she
exactly.
attacks. So overcooks the service.
But that goes long.
4 serving 2. Joy Casas on deck. Took a break in that previous set. Strong jump service. Mans to Jacob with the adjustment and the finish.
Another smart play there by Christy Jekyll. You know, RC Cola, the ladies from RC Cola already expecting that Christy Jekyll will give another strong spike. However, they were deceived instead of dipping the ball in the middle, finding finding a hole on the other side.
Kaylee Mance definitely with just the right synergy with Christy Jacob. And Jacob with the presence of mind to adjust earlier. It was a full force attack. This time just floats it over. The Mahulangan gets under it. Sets up Yari Yonko. Off the blocker for the finish. Two-point lead now for RC Cola Air Force. 5 serving 3. Chance for main and tail. Again, the high setup, the windup. And Ortiz sends it back. Mance with the dump. Doesn't go. Back set this time for Dimakulangan. A spike of her own.
Again!
Jacob off the blocker.
Triple block there by RC Cola, but Christy Jacob again giving another strong spike from the back row.
When all else fails, let's go in a full force attack, flexing her muscle and putting it in. Oh, Dimakulangan had to adjust. Brown had to adjust, and a chance now for main and tail. Rosan Fajardo.
Good intention there, spiking down the line. However, that went too wide for her.
RC Cola Air Force catching a break, back up by 2. Here's Jacob from the back row. Off 2 blockers, gets the finish.
Scoring machine gets another kill for the main and tail.
5 serving 6.
We can see most of the spikes they are given by Kylie Mans is always to Christy Jacob. Her best option.
D-Mac with a setup for Brown, puts it down.
And that was open for Emily Brown.
You're facing off against a very strong scorer and a very powerful spiker like Christy Jacob. Of course, there's still the possibility if you're blocking it and getting a kill. But would you like to see the back row work harder? And you will answer that when we come back as RC Cola takes the lead into the first technical timeout, 8-5. For the ladies of RC Cola Air Force, 8-5 here in set number 4. Christy Jacob still unstoppable, but her team down by 3. We're in set number 4. We've seen a lot of contributions from Kaylee Mans earlier. She was huffing and puffing. This time back to a setter. Christy Jacob, the attacker, gets it off the blocker for the finish, and main and tail within 2 as we send it over to courtside with Salina Dagdag.
Yes, James and Sheila, for the remainder of the game, main and tail's coach Francis wants to witness the same tenacity and fighting spirit he witnessed from his team during the recent third set. Aside from physical skills, coach reminds his girls to think about their counterattacks well. Then ni coach, basahin nyo ang laro ng kalaban kasi kaya nyo. In addition, coach tells the girls to persevere since surely their opponents will be even hungrier to bounce back. As he puts it, you did well pero kailangan pa ng konting tiyaga. James and Sheila?
It's all about that little push sometimes.
Well, they were able to get the third set now. Coach Francis Vicente is hoping, that his girls will be consistent in playing this fourth set, taking another set.
RC Cola Air Force, their errors starting to pile up. That's one thing that their coach Rogo might have to rectify. In just a bit, as Bonita Wise wants to rectify the situation. She wants a bigger lead.
Led Mabaya was late for that spike. Quick spike from Bonita Wise.
10 serving 7. You have Ortiz, Cases, Yonko, Dimakulangan, Wise and Brown on the floor for RC Cola Air Force. That one doesn't go. Jaco again.
This girl seems like she's not getting tired at all. We are already in the fourth set, and she showcases the same level of power and strength from the beginning of this match.
8 serving 10. Unfortunately, that one sails over. But for RC Cola, of course, those errors help, but you cannot just rely on those errors for you to extend and protect your lead.
And you have to work for it.
Cases had a productive first 2 sets. Let's see if she can get back in the groove of things.
And the ball is alive there.
Great effort from Tail. Oh, Ortiz puts it down.
That was too much for Recepcion. Giving them a free ball. Having the chance for the Maculangan to set up Mike Ortiz.
RC Cola making use of the middle attacker. Mike Ortiz into this timeout.
You guard the net. You guard the net. Okay? Definitely, pag nagbabalik ka na ganyan, dapat alam, if all are down, somebody will spike quick. Yun yung style ni Rhea. That's the style of the setter on the other side. Pag everybody's down, if they receive very well, they do a quick. So you have to guard the net. Okay? Kailangan you have the desire to block it. Hindi yung requirement. Okay, block it. As saying, nobody can pass through above the net. Let's go.
Coach Vicente was pointing out the importance of guarding the net or the block or defense that Tail should have in the front line. You know, prior to this one, giving them the chance ball, Rhea de Maculangan set up a quick, giving them another point, making their lead bigger for
Babaya this time, and that one is good. And earlier, just off the timeout, they were talking about the tendencies of Rhea de Maculangan. You know that she likes to set up quick attacks.
Well, that's how well Coach Francis Vicente knows her players. Well, before.
Babaya after the finish, now at the service line. Emily Brown, she get a check ball. That one is good.
RC Cola not letting Tail get another point.
13 serving 9. Jacob demands to Fajardo. Trying to find the seam, but couldn't finish. Here's Brown with power. Puts it down.
Good block there, but it went out. And now the lead goes back to 5.
Earlier, we were talking about RC Cola's tendencies in their previous games, and the losses especially, they just wither down the stretch. Now that they have a 2-1 advantage and the lead 14-9, it has to be that close-out mentality in effect. But look at Jacob close that play out with the exclamation. It's a 4-point game. 10 serving 14. Kaylee Mans on deck. Strong service.
Good serve there by Kaylee Mans.
And again, one of the best scoring centers we've seen here in the Philippine Superliga. Kaylee Mans back on deck. 11 serving 14. RC Cola has to adjust. Yoko. Mans with a dig. And a chance ball given up by Tail. Back set for Ortiz. Off the blocker, couldn't finish. Mans, quick attack. Tatuin puts it down.
Now Tatuin scores from that quick attack set up by Kaylee Mans.
Such a pretty play for Tail. As we look at Coach Rodel Verayo carefully surveying the situation. 12 serving 14. Oh, a friendly roll for
And
Kaylee Mans.
hitting that net helped Kaylee Mans get that service ace. Now the lead is only 1 by RC Cola.
Tail really has this tendency to just pour it on towards the middle and towards the end of the set.
Let's see if they are consistent when it comes to this set.
What a dive by Christy Jacob. Fajardo off speed. Good dig by Casas. Back set, the quick, but no finish.
Christy Jacob.
From the back row. Excellent dig by Yoko. The setup for Brown and the finish.
And that was open. Mushadatuin showing gestures that she wasn't able to block that ball. There's a very big gap in between the blockers.
Standing tall and definitely talented. Emily Brown with that finish as Mike Ortiz with the service. 15 serving 13. Jacob from the back row. Blocked up top.
Good read there by Bonita Wise.
And RC Cola Air Force with a lead into the second technical timeout, 16-13. Action is on. You go to your directors, the setters of both teams. So looking at the comparison between Rhea Dimac, Di Maculangan, and Kaylee Mans.
Well, Di Maculangan having 44 excellent sets compared to 40 only by Kylie Mans. Not a huge difference, though.
But if you look at Kaylee Mans, 9 points. Again, living up to her reputation as a scoring setter as well. Well, Dimac running the show so far. And RC down by 4 points, 14 serving 18. Roseanne Fajardo stepped up her game against RC Cola Air Force. Good solid serve. Emily Brown with a floater. That's good. Drop ball goes in.
She saw that there was nobody on that area. All the players of Main and Tail are in the back row, waiting for a strong spike now. She just dropped the ball on the back of the blockers. Again, giving them another point. 5-point lead by RC Cola.
You know, that's a hypnotic shot. You know, that kind of drop ball off a high set. Because the blockers are trying to anticipate what you're going to do. As Acuna scores off a quick.
Another point there by Acuna from a quick setup.
Another picture-perfect play from Kaylee Mans. 15 serving 19. Main and Tail trying to catch up. Which the loading that service up. Casillas on the attack, but there will go.
Set up with Christy Jago.
And Jago will score.
Another point there. Now that Christy Jago is on the front row, I'm pretty sure that the Kylie Mans will utilize Christy Jago.
It's almost an automatic point when Jago attacks. And not bad if you have that option and you're within striking distance, not down by 3. Quick attack for Bonita Wise. Off the blocker, it's good.
Now the lead is back to 4 by RC Cola.
20 serving 60. As Coach Francis Vicente sues for time, looking to correct the situation, down by 4. Let's try and listen in.
Nasaan kayong dalawa? Nandun sa gilid. Okay. Malamang yun, doon tatarget yan. Okay, pag dito tinarget yan, medyo mahaba. Okay, you tell her, ha? Medyo mahaba yan pag tinarget. Baka i-short ball niya yung bola. Hila mo yan kasi nakikita ng kalabang ganyan ka ng ganyan. No? Ikaw ang tatargetin. Okay, pakita nyo tough. Be tough, be tough. Not yet over. Let's go, be tough. Let's go, receive lang, receive.
Coach Vicente was trying, giving encouraging words to his players, rather.
And again, Kaylee Mans, she's had a lot of excellent sets here as you look at the errors here in set number 4. Main and Tail already with 5. RC Cola Air Force just 2. RC Cola Air Force with a chance to close things out. And then 5 points, getting the victory. If not, if Main and Tail has something to say about it, like Christy Jago.
She said this game, this set is
Getting the victory. If not, if Main and Tail has something to say about it, like Christy Jago.
She said this game, this set is not over yet.
It is far from over. When you have such a prolific reinforcement like Christy Jago on the attack, on the finish. 17 serving 20. Those errors are really shooting themselves in the foot.
That was out.
Spalita now back on the floor for Main and Tail. Does that mean that Haley Mance goes back to that attacking position.
Let's see.
Yes, it does, and she puts it down.
That was a good setup. A fast play by Espolita to Haley Mance. Just hitting the ball down the line. Cutting the lead to 3.
It's been a magical adjustment for Coach Francis Vicente.
That's a huge risk he took.
Ortiz trying to score but doesn't finish.
Again, Haley Mance.
Back-to-back hits for Haley Mance.
Yeah, down the line again. Now in the 4 utility area.
From my observation, Coach Francis Vicente plays Haley Mance from that attacking position for just certain stretches. That one knocked over. And Main and Tail within 1.
They are still alive at this set, 20-21.
Hey, do not let a setter beat you. A setter should never beat you on a down ball.
Yeah,
right,
okay.
let's go. Let's go on a down ball.
Yeah,
right,
okay.
let's go.
Advantage of 1. Okay. Receive muna, receive. Joy. Ball. Receive.
Hey, you guys, be aggressive. Let's go. Don't give this game up. Come on. Let's go. Hey, I see.
I just have to say this. That's the first time I've heard Bonito Wise be really vocal during a timeout.
Well, they are really, this match is a tough match between them. You know, they are really, the score is close, 20-21, and they are not giving up this game for Main and Tail.
Looking at Christy Jaco, 38 points today. That's insane.
The scoring machine, as they say.
She had 40 the last time out against Photon, and now 38, and still counting. D-Mac sends it over to Brown. The drop ball is good.
Espolita was almost there to receive the ball.
But almost doesn't cut it. RC Cola Air Force within 3 points of closing it out. Randy Semana, captain of RC Cola Air Force, on deck to serve. 22 serving 20. Safely places that one in. Set up for Fajardo. That's good.
She found an opening in between the blockers, giving them another point. 22-21.
Far from over.
1 point lead by RC Cola.
Let's Mabayad on deck to serve. Oh, Yarionko. Almost a misreception, and they give up a chance ball.
Free ball. Let's see.
Back set for Mans.
Third point by Kylie Mans.
Tie game in set number 4, 22-all.
And she's a spiker this time.
We have to remember the first 5-setter in the Grand Prix was a Main and Tail game. Will magic work a second time around? Not if RC Cola Air Force can say anything about it.
Solo rejection by Kylie Mans.
Ball doesn't fall. Emily Brown blocked again. D-Mac, quick attack. Ortiz puts it down.
Main and Tail not giving this set.
And RC Cola Air Force within 2 points. It was a tight contest. In set number 2, it was an extended set, 26-24. Third set was 25-22 in favor of Main and Tail. And that attack by Mans just goes out of bounds. We're at match point. On deck to serve, Yarionko for RC Cola Air Force. 24 serving 22. Will Main and Tail survive? Fajardo block. Chance for Emily Brown and the rest of the Air Force Raiders. Ortiz, but great dig on the other side. Jaco couldn't score.
Nice block there by
Ortiz going to Brown, blocked away, but goes out of bounds. Game, set, and match for the RC Cola Air Force Raiders. What a game! Unfortunately, unfortunately, Main and Tail 25-22, 26-24, 22-25, and finally 25-22 in what has been an offensively explosive showcase between these two teams.
Yes, our two teams displayed equally power and strength, but it all boils down to being smart when it comes to play.
And you can just almost hear the collective sigh of relief on the part of RC Cola Air Force. Main and Tail just really gave them a fight towards the end, and the reigning finalists of the All-Filipino Conference escaped with a victory 3-1. Is this the type of team that you can foresee RC Cola Air Force heading into the second round of elimination?
Well, they are performing better than before, but Main and Tail is performing better compared to their 5-setter game last time.
And a Main and Tail for them, nothing to be ashamed of here. They gave RC Cola Air Force quite a fight. They still have some things to adjust, but RC Cola Air Force will march on with a victory in this game. Main and Tail, of course, they had a lot of heroes here. Christine Jacob, 38 points after 40 points the last time around. Still the most prolific import here in the PSL Grand Prix. Mitch Datuin stepped up. Rosan Fajardo was there. Hezime Acuna for a good stretch was also contributing. So Main and Tail just has to figure things out.
Yeah, the local players were expected, and they were able to perform well in this match. Well, however, they were still lacking when it comes to core defense and the gelling inside the court, like what their coach Francis Vicente was highlighting earlier.
But despite the win for RC Cola Air Force, the coaching move of the game, if there is such an award, I have to give it to Coach Francis Vicente. Sending in another setter so that Kaylee Mans can slide down to a scoring position, and that worked wonder.
One set for this match.
Well, let's send it over to courtside with Sarina Dagdag for the best player of the game.
Yes, James and Sheila here with me. It's our most impressive player of the game, Sheila de Maculangan. Sheila, congratulations for winning today's game. Pero matanong kita, Sheila, ha, nahalata namin na ng third set medyo nag-struggle ang team nyo. Ikwento mo naman sa amin, ano ba yung naging problema ng kupunan nyo ng set na yon?
Nung third set po, medyo nawalan po kami ng receive. Then yung mental toughness parang medyo bumigay na parang hinayaan na lang na kahit bumagsak na yung bola, parang wala nang nag-a-attempt. Ayun po.
And Sheila, nahalata rin namin na coming into the fourth set, kahit napakalupit at lapit ng labanan at napakalaki ng pressure na nasa iyo, you still delivered and performed very well. Ikwento mo rin naman sa amin kung ano yung naging mindset mo ng time na yun.
Nung fourth set siguro, sabi nila coach, tsagain ko na kahit walang receive. So kahit saan pumunta yung bola, habol na lang din. Tsaka mas ginamit ko na siguro yung middle striker ko para kahit pa paano malito yung blocker ng kabila.
Nakita nga naman talaga namin ang pagtsaga mo. Maraming salamat at congratulations ulit. There you have it, James and Sheila, our most impressive player of the game, Rhea de Macalangan.
Thank you so much, Selena. And of course, we talked about the difference between Kaylee Mans and Rhea de Maculangan as setters. Well, Rhea de Maculangan getting the better of that matchup.
Well, they are actually giving good distributions equally to their spikers. But as Rhea de Maculangan mentioned, that distribution and the good sets were given to her spikers so that they were able to take away this match.
Well, there's a reason why she is the best setter in the All-Filipino Conference of the Philippine Superliga. Rhea de Maculangan, the best player on the game.